the first time I fell in love with you like there was like dung, 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 dung.
Why are those dungs going down?
Because I'm deeper. I'm going deeper. Oh, now you feel bad, right?
I
Yeah.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. It feels like it's been a while.
It has. We are back on home turf. And we're both a little jet lagged, actually.
A little bit.
But we urgently needed to record a Q&A. And so bear with us. Am I starting off this Q&A with a disclaimer?
Oh, come on. Can't do that.
If the answers suck today, I'm blaming jet lag.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay, shall we get going?
Yeah.
All right, this first question is from E. As I'm adding as in the letter. It's me adding that. Dear Shandy, I need advice on how to get over a work crush. A few months ago, a new guy started working at my office. I'm 36, he's 39. When I met him, the chemistry felt instant. I got the impression he liked me too. He asked my friend if I was married. I constantly catch him staring at me in meetings. He laughs at everything I say, even if it isn't funny. And he makes strong, extended eye contact with me that feels like electricity. At first, I thought he wasn't asking me out because we're coworkers and he doesn't want to cross that line. But the more time passed, the more I wondered if it was something else. I have a friend whose desk is next to his, and I asked her if he ever mentioned having a girlfriend. Apparently, he does. She lives out of state in his hometown, about a 5-hour drive, and he goes to visit almost every weekend. He never mentioned a girlfriend to me, despite many opportunities to do so. He also never crossed any lines. We haven't communicated outside of work, and he hasn't added me on social media. When I found out he has a girlfriend, I felt foolish for thinking there was something there and disappointed because I had started to like him. My question is 2 parts. Am I the asshole for not vetting his single status sooner and developing a crush on someone in a relationship? And how do I move past this crush when I have to see him several times a week? E.
Well, she's definitely not an asshole. The sad or just reality, whether it's sad or just reality or sad reality, is that men in the workplace flirt a lot. And they often pick someone that's their main flirt.
Oh.
Yeah. So like some consummate them. And I think that this guy really finds her interesting and attractive. And he likes to play the game. Yeah. He's like, I have this girlfriend, out of state. But, he's playing. He's playing around. He likes to flirt. She's his main flirt.
I think, if anything, the fact that he hasn't shared that he has a girlfriend means that he is interested in her. Like, if he were single, he probably would have made a move by now. And you can let that be the ego stroke that you need it to be. And sometimes a workplace crush, even when it's not a possibility, is just a fun time.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, like you guys can have your extended eye contact and it doesn't need to be consummated, and just enjoy. If you feel that that's preventing you from really moving on, or like you need to get over it, you can't just enjoy that for what it is, then I would just sort of avoid the extended eye contact, like move out of that flirty territory. But to me, this is kind of a non-issue. She sort of made this bed and it's on her to get herself out of it, unless she just wants to enjoy it for what it is.
Right. I mean, she can take the moral low ground and step up her flirting and see where it goes.
Oh, that's low.
And yeah, that's low.
Yeah. Especially since he's not crossing any lines.
Right. I think the workplace is kind of it's a very bizarro fantasy world for people. Like they have sort of make-believe friends. They have make-believe relationships.
It's so true. Make-believe friends too. Some work friends. And then when you're not working there anymore, you're not friends anymore.
It's not a real friend.
Yeah.
A work friend is barely a friend. Sometimes, once in a while.
Some of my, my 2 bridesmaids who weren't my sisters, I met as work friends.
Yeah.
So...
No, this happens. This is what I will say. Usually, and this is most people, the workplace is such an awful experience. Like you look forward to it with such disdain.
Yeah, it's
and you're just so unhappy there that the bar for anything that can make you happy is so low that when you find someone who's not horrible at work, you're just like, oh, this is so nice. And it's like you associate them with this not horribleness. Yeah. And then they attain this status that's not really
realistic.
It's like someone, like someone you do like drugs with. You do like, you do a bunch of cocaine or like hallucinogenics. And you're like, wow, you're my best friend. And then when you're sober, you're like, not so much, but maybe.
I think we've kind of sort of answered this.
Yeah.
E, you're definitely not the asshole. It is on you for letting yourself get into full-blown crush territory, I think. But also, you know, I don't think this needs to be taken so seriously. Just because a crush doesn't need to be turned into something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, especially in the workplace, the idea of a crush needing to be like, oh, he needs to be single, I need to be single, we need to do this and this. It's sort of like having a crush on a celebrity. You know nothing's going to come of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it. As a matter of fact, a good crush is basically like a relationship without any baggage. Not even one drop.
And you get all of those little like dopamine rushes throughout the day. It's great.
It's like, you know what it is? It's like sex without an orgasm.
Ah.
Yeah, you basically have to forego the orgasm, but you're getting all the sex.
I was thinking more like foreplay without the sex.
Okay, you're probably right.
Okay, we can move on.
You haven't had any really good workplace flirts.
Apparently, I've been missing out. All right, this next question is from Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Ah, a man to hug and kiss? This is a joke, right?
Yes.
That's a Simpsons joke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Bart calls the bar, and Moe's like, "Who this? Is there an Amanda there? Amanda who? Amanda Hug and Kiss? Hey, is there Amanda Hug and Kiss over here? I need a man to hug and kiss." That's what it was.
Very good.
Thank you. I don't think that's a really good Moe. I think I could do Moe is more like this. How is Moe? I don't even know what Moe
sad?
is.
You haven't watched Simpsons in a while.
Oh, it is sad.
You've been watching more Rick and Morty.
20 years ago, I could have done a Moe perfectly.
Oh, yeah. Dearest, dear Shandy. First, the ego stroke. I'm currently training for my first 5K. It's a small feat on the grand scheme of things, but a big deal for me. I've been keeping you in my ears while training, and I've found the laughs throughout my runs are so helpful. Thank you for your small part in getting me in shape. You're welcome, Amanda.
Yeah. It's really, it's on us.
The question. My husband is a wonderful partner, parent, and person. He has supported me emotionally and financially as I've been building up a new business, is a completely equal parent to our kids, and I feel very lucky to have him in my life. So why am I writing into a podcast? He is a terrible kisser. There, I said it. We met in our mid-20s, got married in our 30s, and are now in our late 30s. I knew from our very first kiss that this was not one of his strengths. Over the years, I've tried to take the lead, he doesn't notice, or gently give suggestions of things to try when kissing. It has never improved. I really miss a good makeout, and I used to enjoy that passionate foreplay. It really got me in the mood. But now I find myself shying away from sex because I don't want to kiss him, or I try to move past foreplay quickly, even though I used to love it. I should say he is great in other avenues in the bedroom and always ensures I have been well taken care of. Is it too late to improve our makeouts? It's been so long, I'm not even sure I know how to have a good makeout anymore. Amanda, hug and kiss.
Aww. Yeah, this is the thing. But, if you buy a poodle, you can't, 5 years in say, I really, really would have liked the dachshund.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is buyer beware.
This is the thing. You can technically make some changes. It's possible.
Yeah.
You can just say, do this, do that. When you do this, don't do this. When you don't do that, do this, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And if there's a partner who's willing to work with you, you can make some changes. But you can't fix the engine. The engine is wrong. It's not the right engine.
For her.
Yeah, it's a different breed of dog. It's a different engine. You're dealing with a 4-cylinder versus an 8-cylinder.
Okay.
You got what you got. You waited your whole life. You're like, oh, that's the car I want. That's the dog I want. And now you have it. That's it. You got to deal with that dog. There's a lot of good things about that dog, a lot of good things about that car.
There's a reason you chose that dog in the first, but that breed in the first place.
You just don't have 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, and you don't have a smart dog. Oh, no. Yeah. Well, I guess a poodle is a smart dog.
Smart,
yeah, it's a dachshund who's not smart. Yeah.
I'm sure people who are dachshund owners might be like, actually.
Dachshunds make up for not smartness with a lot of cuteness.
Yeah, I think we're a little biased because our neighbors have a long-haired dachshund who is very cute, but who is not very smart. and who barks constantly.
Yeah.
And so we don't have the best impression. Although before meeting this dachshund, we were big dachshund people.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
I think the dachshund is not so much as not smart. I think he's had some trauma.
Oh, now I feel bad.
Yeah, you should feel bad.
I don't think he's a traumatized dog. I'm pretty sure they like
Oh, you
bought
know what
him.
it is?
I don't think
he's
they
a
adopted.
pandemic dog.
Yeah,
he's not used to like anything outside of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just recall them. I think that they bought their dog. There was no adopting of the dog.
I do think we've gone a little off topic here, just to rein us in a bit.
Hopefully they don't listen to this.
Yeah. They're like listening live right now, actually.
Okay, so what you're saying is buyer beware. She chose the poodle because she wanted a poodle.
Yeah.
And the poodle doesn't shed. The poodle's a really smart, great dog.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons why she chose the poodle. And now she's like, oh, I also want it to do this.
But she can teach a dog to do some tricks that dog is not,
It
not what the dog doesn't want to do the tricks. You got to feed him a lot to do the tricks. And it's forced.
Positive reinforcement.
Not natural. It's not organic.
What
she wants is him to grab her and passionately kiss her in a way that she remembers being good kissing. And that's never going to happen. Ever.
And you're saying it's never going to happen because he doesn't have
the engine.
Okay, he does. Okay.
You can't race a
He's
Ferrari
not coded.
with a Honda Civic.
Yeah,
You just can't. A Honda Civic does a lot of good things. Safe, reliable. It won't be in the shop all the time. A lot of good things. But one thing you cannot do is drag race with a Honda Civic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I knew what your answer to this was going to be, more or less, and I'm inclined to agree, unfortunately. I do feel, Amanda, that you could venture into more explicit territory if you wanted to. It sounds like she's just tried taking the lead and he hasn't noticed. So she hasn't been like, hey, I would prefer it if you did this. But I understand why you haven't, because once you open that can of worms, you can't go back. No. And I can see it being kind of upsetting as a partner of, they've been together for probably close to 15 years, being kind of upset to hear that. But I feel like that's going to be the only way to truly change the course of history. And it's up to you to decide whether or not that's worth it. Like, put yourself in his shoes. Would he want to hear that? Does it bother you enough that if you were in his shoes, you would want to be told, is it worth going there? We always talk about how it's a safe space, no eggshells. But this is the kind of thing where are the gains worth the damage you could do? But here's the thing, he's a wonderful co-parent, a wonderful husband, all these things. I think personally, if I had to bet my money on one thing, I would say he can take it and he's actually good-humored about it and makes an effort to improve, just based on what a good partner he seems to be.
Yeah. It's tough to just tell someone to deal with it, but especially if he's a really overly sloppy kisser. It's one thing if he's like sort of very unenthusiastic, dry, like unsexual kisses. Okay. That's much easier to deal with. Yeah. If he's overtly sloppy, and that's something you got to deal with for life, that's tough. But I will say that she could hire a surrogate kisser.
Oh.
Yeah, just find somebody. They both agree, like, this is somebody you don't have emotional connection with. He's a very good kisser. And, once a week you get to make out with him.
Sometimes I wonder where these ideas come from.
Oh, I'm just saying that's plan C.
Does this just float through your mind like a cloud and you're like, that one? Is that what happens?
Well, I'm just thinking like, it's easy for me to give advice when I don't have to deal with it.
Oh,
and
totally.
I'm just saying, in the worst case scenario, if my partner was amenable to it, let's say we get a surrogate, when I really feel like I need a good kiss, just call this person up. They come, make out. They leave. They can't stay for more than 10 minutes. That's a max
in order
stay
for
time.
a makeout to be really good, it's got to get you kind of like worked up.
Oh, that's true.
It's not like she can then transfer that worked upness to her husband.
You see, we worked this out. Now my plan is no good. I realize it's no good.
That was what made you realize.
That was the thing that tipped me, yeah.
Okay, so I guess our advice is, my personal advice is, Amanda, I think you can tell him personally, just based on your description of your husband. But sometimes you just want to preserve the feelings of the people you care about. And I guess to me, it's like, how often are you having sex? How often do you feel robbed of this good makeout experience in the grand scheme of things? You could have a guy who's an amazing kisser, but who is a terrible partner in a multitude of ways. So
absolutely.
I think can't really have it all. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think it's too late. And this is something you just got to deal with. And it's of all the things, as you said, of all the things that could be bad in a relationship, you're dealing with one of the top 10 best things to be bad in a relationship.
And the sex is good.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
The sex is great,
The sex is great. Focus on the sex. Get weird with the other stuff. He clearly has skills in the non-kissing department.
But see, the fact that he has skills in the non-kissing department tells me that he should be a good kisser. He's just been led astray at some point.
It's been 15 years. What do you think? He's just holding out? He's like, well, you've waited this long. Surprise. Yeah, no, it's not happening.
Your reward for 15 years of marriage.
Yeah, on her 25th anniversary. He's like, surprise, I can kiss. It's not happening. Let it go.
Oh, you think let it go?
Absolutely let it go.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay, I'm saying she can bring it up.
Whatever. It's not going to work.
We'll let you gauge accordingly. So we're just copping out of answering your question. Okay, moving on. This is what a jet-lagged Q&A sounds like.
Can we do the jingle? Is this a permanent jingle?
No, I don't think we can do it each time.
We can't do it each time?
We're discussing whether or not we can keep using our Squarespace jingle.
I'd like, let's do it one last time. And if people complain, tell us if you're unhappy with it.
No, we have to keep jingles fresh, Andy.
Okay.
And Squarespace does deserve that love because we love Squarespace.
How about we just do a variation on a theme?
Okay.
Squarespace, where a beautiful website is made. Huh?
Okay, I think that's the last time we can use that jingle. We just really like it.
Yeah.
We catch ourselves singing it around the house.
We do.
Because we love Squarespace. It really is your ultimate destination for making a beautiful website with little to no coding experience, which is massive.
And I know several web designers, people who work in the web design space.
Yes.
And they all swear by Squarespace.
Actually, I think it speaks volumes that there is an entire industry now of web designers who use Squarespace.
Well, that's the thing. It used to be a web designer just actually architected the code.
Yeah.
They did it. They built it from scratch.
Now you're like, no, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, you're basically hiring someone to use Squarespace for you.
Really, there's no wrong answer here. You could hire a designer who uses Squarespace, or you could go it alone. And that's what's so incredible about Squarespace is you can build a gorgeous website, a gorgeous professional looking website using your own images and graphics and content and plug and play. Really, their templates are so easy to use.
And they have all the features.
Oh, there is truly a feature for everything. And I say this as someone who has a blog on Squarespace. I made our wedding website on Squarespace. Our podcast website is on Squarespace. From their galleries to their mailing lists to booking online, you can have member areas. It's endless. Whatever you could possibly need, Squarespace provides.
So go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Well, Andy, I overheard you on the phone with your mother 2 days ago, and you were scolding her for not using ZocDoc.
I was. Can I tell you the story?
Sure.
She couldn't get through to her doctor. She needed to make an appointment, an important appointment, and her doctor just wouldn't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And then when it went to the answering machine, like they'd say, leave a message, and they wouldn't call her back.
Ugh, that's the worst.
So I said, this is a perfect job for ZocDoc. She's like, ZocDoc? Well, why is that going to help? And I was like, well...
You proceeded to list all the reasons why one should use ZocDoc. And obviously, we are well versed in the ZocDoc. We use ZocDoc all the time. It's basically a search engine that connects you with doctors. And of course, you can filter by the type of doctor, the location of the doctor, whether or not they take your insurance, which is massive. You don't need to pick up the phone at all. Usually, that's what you would have to do. And then finally, you have reviews from other patients like yourself, so you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and guess what? While she was on ZocDoc, she texted me with all exclamation points. She's like, I got an appointment. As if like she told me about ZocDoc. And get this, she had been looking for another type of doctor, and she got an appointment with that one too, a new doctor, and she was all excited about it.
What has your mother been doing listening to our ZocDoc ads? Just not
I was a
filing
little
that away?
offended.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my mother is fast forwarding through the ads.
Well, you just saved her possibly hours of her time.
And her health.
Yes.
This is a serious problem.
Yes, it's so true. You know, we always rely on reviews for so many things we do. We rely on reviews before we buy anything. Online. And yet we're not relying on reviews to see a doctor for
just
our
because
health.
some cousin was like, yeah, he's all right. Okay.
It's a terrible reason.
He can take my liver out. So ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online.
You can book the appointment within ZocDoc without picking up the phone. So your mother would never be in that situation again.
You can filter specifically for ones that take your insurance,
are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for.
Go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy and download the ZocDoc app for free.
Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com, ZocDoc.com/Shandy, ZocDoc.com/Shandy. All right, this next question is from N, as in the letter.
What's the word N?
No, I add as in the letter, Andy.
Oh,
I add that. They don't write that.
Oh, you say that because you don't want to be confused with the word N.
I think this might be the first N as in the letter we've ever gotten.
No, I think you're right.
As in the letter. We've gotten the other N's.
Yeah, we've gotten the name N, but never the letter N.
Dear Shandy, I adore the pod and look forward to my Thursdays when a new episode drops. I am looking forward to hearing your take on my current situation. Background, we are both 25. I met M at the beginning of 2022 through a dating app. We went on 3 dates before he told me he got out of a 5-year relationship and jumped into dating too soon. I told him we could still be friends as we got along really well. I am friends with many past dating app matches. Respect. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I met you via that.
Yeah. We both.
I can't speak today. I met you that way.
You did.
I did.
Yeah. And I have many friends. I have friends that came to our wedding who were match
people that you dated briefly.
That I dated briefly. Yeah.
You know, there's something to be said for that.
One. Let's not get carried away. There was one.
But still, I met you that way. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll link out the how we met story just in case. He moved to New York a few months later, but our friendship grew despite living on opposite coasts. We had numerous hour-long phone calls, dinner with each other's parents, sent Christmas and birthday presents, spent a week-long trip together, and he convinced me to move to the same city. I would have never guessed that we would become so close. He often tells me how special our friendship is and that he has never had someone like me in his life. Current situation. I have been in New York for about a month now, and we have hung out multiple times a week. I quickly fell into place into the friend group here. His brother and I have also become close, and we hang out weekly one-on-one. Now that we are spending much more time together, I have developed strong feelings for M. I think it has also become clear to the both of us that there is a palpable sexual tension, and last weekend he kissed me while we were at a bar. I took it as an opportunity to ask him where he saw our relationship going. He told me that he didn't want to ruin our friendship. He didn't know if he saw something long-term, but was willing to see where things go. I took this as his way of attempting to have his cake and eat it too. He knows me well enough where I feel like it would be a clear answer by now. So my question is, how do I navigate our friendship now? Do you agree with my interpretation of that conversation? I cannot imagine taking a complete step back as I've become close with this group and have been warmly welcomed by all of them. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, N.
Okay. So let me get this straight. They dated briefly.
They went on 3 dates.
So they went on 3 dates, and then their broken up period is having dinner with each other's parents, going on a week-long vacation, talking constantly. Gifts. And then her moving at his request to the city that he lives in.
And also, a lot of this was long distance too, because he moved to New York a few months after they had gone on those few dates early on. So it would seem that over a year of this has been long distance.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I might be missing something culturally here, because this is bizarre. This is bizarre. I mean, you don't feel that way?
Not necessarily. I don't necessarily agree with you. I think
can you put yourself in her shoes in this situation?
Well, no, I can. I just think that there's something very avoidant about him. Like, I think that he's one of those guys that has an issue with labels and committing, and he actually wants the girlfriend experience and can provide the boyfriend experience, but is like freaked out by names.
Okay, that's fine and
Labels.
good, but do you not feel uncomfortable with the playing field here?
Oh,
he has all the power.
I 100% agree with that. 100%. I'm just trying to think of like why this is the way it is. But I'm not going to be honest, when I first read this question, I thought like Mayday, like
sure,
be careful.
Yeah. Well,
do you agree with me?
Well, the thing that I'm missing in this question is I need to understand her psyche. I need to understand what's going on with her emotionally, which I didn't quite get here.
Yeah,
this is very logistical.
That's an interesting point. The entire email is very focused on what's he thinking and not enough on what she. I mean, I think the subtext here is that she's really interested. She really likes him. I don't know if she would have done all this if she wasn't interested.
I've had far more intense non-platonic relationships that didn't have all the elements of a platonic relationship that she supposedly had with this guy. So, like,
I did. You lost me.
There. What?
I'm like,
Yeah. I knew that no one on earth could understand what I just said, so you were lying about understanding. It's fine. I do that all the time. But
can you explain that again?
Okay.
Sorry.
So what I'm saying is I've had more like legitimate non-platonic relationships that had
just romantic relationships.
Yes, right. Sorry. That's the double negative is what threw you and me. It threw me too.
I lost my way.
Yeah, I shouldn't have gone double negative. Always a bad call unless it really emphasizes a point.
I do love me a double negative now.
If it emphasizes a point. If you're just doing it to be a dick, then it's not good.
Oh, then that's annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Okay.
So my point is that their platonic relationship was far more intense, in my opinion, than most romantic relationships, especially the early phases.
100%. I completely agree.
So what they had was a fully romantic relationship that didn't involve physical contact. That's pretty much what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's a power differential. Like he's just like, I'm doing some other things and I don't want to do this now, but I want to put not just a place marker. This is not like one of those numbers you get on the sandwich table, like when you're waiting at one of those deli places.
I love those, by the way.
I do too. It makes you feel special.
Yeah. What is that? When you go to an ice cream parlor or something, you have to take a number. I love that.
You know what it makes you feel? It makes you feel like you're taken care of, like there's not going to be an issue.
Yes. You know what annoys me more than anything is a queue that is ambiguous. You know, when you're waiting in line and it's unclear whether there's a line behind each kiosk. For our American
listeners, a queue is a line. But anyway, I think most of them know.
Wait, what? A queue? Is that Canadian?
A queue is a UK. It's like it's of the Queen's language. That's not a fully American word.
I'm sorry. The word line is way too overused. It has way too many purposes. Queue is perfect for this.
There's no question that queue is a better word than line in that context.
Yes.
But unfortunately, in America, it's just not used. No one in America
says... I don't know if you're right about that. I think you're underestimating. 100%
right. I would say, if I had to guess, I would say 5% of Americans ever use the word queue unless they're using it as a joke.
Well, you put me in my place.
Sure did.
Okay, so backtracking a bit, we're in a tangent within a tangent.
Yeah.
Okay, so cue aside, I hate it when you are in line to check out somewhere or for a kiosk or something, and it's unclear whether it's one big communal line, which I think it always should be, by the way.
Yeah.
Because fair is fair.
Yeah.
Whoever's just next in line gets the next available kiosk. It shouldn't come down to how good you were at picking your queue.
Totally agree.
Okay, so that aside, how did we get into that? Oh, getting a number.
Yeah.
He's
made her far more of a place marker than that number you get at the table at the deli.
Yeah.
I was saying, he's basically, you know what he's done? He's put her in, it's like Minority Report level where he's like put her in some cryo, like a tank. She's just waiting for his orders. Like to me, this seems weird.
Okay. I feel
did that happen in Minority Report? Or am I mixing my science fiction movies?
I don't remember Minority Report.
It was something like that. It was like
they
put these precogs in this. It's like this bath, and they just wait to like have precog things, and then when they have them, they go arrest the person, and they really don't have a life. They just sit there. I don't know if maybe they like it. I don't know. I don't remember the mental state of the precogs, but I don't feel like they were having their best life.
I do not remember this movie well enough to
great
venture
movie.
a
Minority
guess.
Report, great movie.
I think I was a kid when I saw that.
Yeah, well, it was a fantastic movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick. Philip K. Dick. Most people don't know that all these movies are Philip K. Dick. Like Blade Runner was Philip K. Dick. This was Philip K. Dick.
Minority Report was Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, Tom Cruise picks a good movie.
Tom Cruise, you can malign him all you want.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Tom Cruise movie that I didn't, at the very least, enjoy a little bit.
He knows what he's doing. He knows his territory.
Yeah, he overacts. He basically
He doesn't overact.
No, he does. But he does overact, but he does it in a way that's not full Keanu. He doesn't go Keanu. He figures out how to do Keanu without going full Keanu.
I think Tom Cruise acts the way Tom Cruise is in real life. Like from what I've heard from people who've met Tom Cruise, apparently if you talk to Tom Cruise.
Oh, he's just Tom Cruise.
He's so like zeroed in on you, like laser focused. Like he's so engaged in conversation. Like everything about what I've read it is like to meet Tom Cruise is exactly how he acts.
You know what I feel like about Tom Cruise? You know, I know he's had some things. Everyone has things. When you're that famous, you're going to have things. Name a super famous person who hasn't had things.
The worst
Taylor Swift is going to have things soon. Watch. Give her 5 years. She'll have things. But my point is, of all the famous people that I've ever, there are people I respect, like they're heroes of mine. But of all the famous people I've ever known in my life, I want to meet Tom Cruise more than anyone.
Wow.
Yeah. That may sound really shallow, but I don't care. I want to meet Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is the most famous person I've ever known. He is pure fame, but he has become the personification of fame. He's no longer a human.
Yeah.
He is now Tom Cruise, the celebrity. Almost no one else has achieved that. Brad Pitt, I'm telling you, you meet Brad Pitt alone, you hang out with him, you're like, oh, Brad Pitt, he's got problems.
Okay, I mean, wow. I respect that. I respect it. Tom Cruise, even the name, it's like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, everything. And his name is actually Tom Cruise. His last name, I think, is Mapplethorpe or something weird, but his is Tom Cruise Mapplethorpe the fourth or something.
We once sat next to Katie Holmes at a brunch restaurant.
That was the closest we'll ever get to Tom Cruise. No one meets Tom Cruise. You can't. He's too famous.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing one more thing about Tom Cruise. I genuinely feel that if you met Tom Cruise, you would not be disappointed.
I 100% agree. As a matter of fact, I would be disappointed in myself.
For what?
I would know that no matter how I met Tom Cruise, I would fail myself. I wouldn't be as good as I should be when meeting Tom Cruise.
Oh, wow.
He would outshine me so badly that I would feel bad about myself for weeks.
Wow. Yeah. What a rave review for Tom Cruise here on Dear Shandy. My goodness. Okay. So how did we get into that? Oh, so you're saying that she's... Oh man, that N is being categorized. She's put on cryo freeze, whatever.
That was impressive. I had no idea where we were.
Yeah, like in Minority Report.
Minority Report, right. So she is fully just in the oven, whatever analogy you want to use. She's just waiting for that temperature to hit preheat.
Yeah.
She is his. And I don't like that. But maybe this works. I don't know. All I needed was something, just a little crumb. You could even give me on a scale from 1 to 10, emotionally, where are you? All I need is that.
She's actually very factual. She's like, this happened, then this happened, then he did this and this and this and this. And I agree, it's missing a few sentences about what makes what they have so special, why she feels the way she does about him. But I don't think it really changes the result. I think we can make an assumption, and I feel pretty confident in this assumption, that she's extremely into him. She probably used him as a catalyst to move to New York. Maybe that's something she wanted to do anyway, but she's allowing him at this point to alter the course of her life choices,
right,
which to me is a concern given how little he's promising her in return. I agree with what she says here with he knows me well enough where I feel like it should be a clear answer by now. I agree with that, N. And I, for that reason, don't disagree with your double negative. Nice. I don't disagree with your interpretation of that conversation. Yeah. I think there's something avoidant about him. He is afraid of committing to her. He's worried something else will come along, something better. Did she give ages?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're young. Is my guess. They're young. They're like young, but
wait,
never
mind.
Young.
She did. We are both 25.
Yeah,
my bad.
I knew it.
My bad. Okay, so they met at the beginning of 20. Okay, so he's. Oh my God, he's been in New York for like a year and a half or less.
She's got to pull the plug. She has to say, "This cannot go on like this. I got to live my life. We're in New York. You're in New York. You're in New York. Mm-hmm. We're in New York.
Yeah.
Let's live our lives. Is this going to be our life, or are we going to live our lives separately? We can still be friends, but don't do this shit." She's got to put her foot down. This is a foot down situation. Okay. Foot down.
Okay, we have to give concrete advice. I like that though. Foot down. Okay, N, this is what I think you should do. I think that you can continue to be friends, but I think you need to categorize him as a platonic friend, which is what he's doing, except for that time he kissed you at a bar. But that's not enough to go with, especially how when you're like, where is this going? I love that she did that, by the way. I love that she didn't just let this turn into a situationship right off the bat. She's like, we're close enough friends. You kissed me at a bar. Where's this going? I need to know.
Yeah.
I think that she is owed that. You know, she's not just some girl that he just met. So you can maintain this friendship if you think you can take the blinders off and be open to meeting other people. But if you think that is going to be a problem for you, then I would suggest taking a step back, like Andy said. No matter what, I think you need to start cultivating your own social circle in this new city. So new friend group,
100%.
new whatever. I don't like that, you know, one of her one-on-one people that she hangs out with is his brother.
What?
You know,
Come on.
you need to branch out so that you're not so reliant on him, especially if you find that being in his presence. Because remember, the majority of their friendship has been long distance. So now she's faced with seeing him all the time. I think that if he's not ready to commit to her in the way she clearly wants and is ready to commit to him, this is going to become very, very painful for her very quickly.
You know, we all come to a point in our young lives where we have to become an adult. This is her adult moment. This is where she has to take ownership of her being an adult.
Her destiny.
Yeah, and she has to say, if I don't do something adult in this situation, I may be dragged into a life. You know, it's choose your own adventure here. She's at that choose your own adventure. You either go down this dark, you know, scary path into the forest, or this bright thing that leads to some. You always go down the dark one, right? Isn't that? Because they try to trick you to go to the light one. I mean, that's obvious. But anyway, my point is, this is a choose your own adventure. You can either choose to be stuck in the mud and be dictated. No one wants to be dictated. No one wants to serve someone in this way.
You're always making it sound so sinister. I think that he might really like her company as a friend.
It doesn't matter. He's not doing it right. He's not being fair to her. She's in New York. He's in New York. This has to be clear. Are we friends or are we something else? Either way, she has to take ownership of her life and go solo. She has to put her foot down on this.
This is why I think that they should actually just be friends.
100% they should just be friends. Maybe one day. They're 25 in New York. When you're 25 in New York, you should only have friends.
Okay, he says he doesn't know if he sees something long term, but is willing to see where things could go. To me, that's very dicey, especially considering how valuable this friendship is to both of them. I can see why he's afraid of risking it, to be honest. He probably knows himself, and he knows that he'll mess things up in this relationship. So, and I think that you should let this be a platonic friendship. And let me tell you, nothing will light a fire under his ass with getting serious about you, like watching you have your own life, maybe develop crushes on other people, go on dates with other people. Nothing will make that happen faster. Nothing will get you answers sooner than you focusing your attention elsewhere.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like that advice at this point, we've given that advice so many times, but particularly, and this is not an insult. You're 25. And I don't know if she has heard this advice yet, but there is no better thing to do in this situation for all the beneficial outcomes than to be a real friend and live your life. If he wants
an autonomous friend.
You have to believe it, though. This is the thing.
You can't do it to get some special outcome.
The worst thing you can do is fake it. Be like, oh, we're just friends, but you show him that you're actually not. No, you got to believe it. You got to live it. If you go live your life as a friend of his and nothing more, if there's anything there, he will chase you to the point where you have to fend him off, if you so choose.
Yeah.
Do that. That's your only choice. Your only choice in this situation is to make a Maginot Line. No romance, just friendship. Strong friendship, but nothing more. You win in every way.
Yes. Okay.
If he is not interested, you win. If he's interested, you win. Yes. If he's wishy-washy, you win. You win every way. Everybody wins.
Okay. All right. Okay. And take this conversation for what it's worth, and good luck. Because I actually think she's in dicey territory.
Oh, yeah. You know
she is? She's on, like in Mario Brothers, where you're like, there's like the lava level where you have to jump from one thing to another.
Yes. Or the choose your own adventure. Okay. Yeah. Don't go to the light. Okay. Take the dark path.
All right. This next question is from Anonymous Asshole. Dear Shandy,
So she knows she's the asshole. That's good.
Thank you for putting your delightful relationship out into the world and for giving us Shandy's a glimpse into your happy marriage, even if it means exposing yourselves to the pain of being a person online in 2023.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing us.
When she words it like that, it makes me kind of not want to do this anymore. Exposing yourself. Yeah. Seeing your partnership gives me hope that I can achieve the same for myself. Oh, okay. It's all worth it. Yeah. Dear Shandy has developed quite a track record in the Am I the Asshole genre. I am offering myself up as the proverbial asshole in a scenario that I believe provides a case study that tests two pillars of Shandy wisdom. One being the no eggshells rule, and two, the importance of shared humor. For background, my ex and I are both in our mid-30s. We dated for 10 months and recently broke up. The incident in question occurred 5 months into the relationship. The relationship was fine. We had moments of playfulness, but in my opinion, we lacked an overall sense of levity and goofiness. Great writing, can I just say. Yeah, here is the scenario. Shandy. My ex accidentally killed his friend's dog. It was 5 years ago. While dog sitting, my ex fed the dog a fingerling potato. The potato became lodged in the dog's throat. A veterinarian attempted emergency surgery but was unable to save the dog and he died. Fast forward a few years, the friend adopted a new dog who my ex sometimes dog sits. Wow.
Wait, who lets this guy dog sit?
Again.
It's like, oh, who's your babysitter? Oh, John Wayne Gacy. Oh, you don't have any reservations about that, huh? No, that's fine. Won't happen again.
Whatever lingering hurt the incident caused did not end their friendship, which seems as close as ever. When my ex relayed this story to me a few months ago, I expressed shock and empathy. But later that day, or maybe it was the following day, I attempted to make a joke in which I referred to something that had gotten stuck like a potato.
Too soon. Always too soon.
My ex said, "Don't even joke about that." I apologized. We changed the subject and it was never mentioned again. I felt like such a jerk. On one hand, I regret that I attempted to poke fun at this sensitive topic. On the other hand, I can't fully regret it because it gave me information. It also provoked the following questions. How does the no eggshells rule apply to humor? If a couple truly has a no eggshells relationship, is there such a thing as an offensive joke within the partnership? Or will your partner always get what you were going for even if they didn't find it funny? What's the best way to bounce back from a failed joke with a partner? Did I handle the aftermath correctly? I look forward to your insights. Sincerely, anonymous asshole. I love this one.
This is great.
It's complicated.
It is complicated. And I applaud her for her joke. It was funny. No question it was funny.
Yeah.
He didn't take it the right way. And I don't blame him for that. It might be that's a bad thing. You kill someone else's dog. That's really bad.
Yeah.
I would never get over that.
Yeah. And I, in fact, anonymous asshole, would almost I know that it sucks to make a joke that doesn't land with your partner. And in fact, you feel like a jerk for having made that joke. Yeah. But I do think that if something isn't going to land and someone's almost offended by it, and to say offended, that's not the right word. He feels so bad about what he did that he feels guilty laughing at a joke that references it.
Right. She did. She gave her life for comedy. And I always applaud that.
Yeah.
I always do. And it's always worth it if you know that the relationship you have with that person isn't going to be permanently damaged by the joke. It's always worth it because the fact of the matter is, oftentimes the most extreme inappropriate but funny humor can actually help heal the person you're telling it to. If I had a loved one who recently tragically died, or God, maybe this is too extreme. I went too far. Yeah. That's too much. That's too much.
Okay.
But if I had something like maybe I lost a really good job, or I don't know, I broke my leg,
I think a pet's a good one. It's something that really affects you deeply.
Yeah, but it's not quite to the level of human relationship. Or sometimes, but not always. Yeah. Usually not. Usually not. Well, sometimes that's cute if it is, but let's just say it's not. Because I don't want to offend anybody who has, their whole life. Some people's whole life is their pet. Yeah, right. And I totally respect that. Totally. In some ways, I respect that more than if their whole life was a human.
You definitely respect it more.
But that aside, I do think that a well-landed, well-crafted, extremely inappropriate joke referring to someone else's tragedy can help them heal because it can create lightness out of something where you cannot see any lightness, which is pure darkness.
That's a good point. It also shows, I mean, in this particular case, it had been 5 years since it happened. He has since, like, his friendship with the dog owner has not been affected to the point where he lets him dog sit still to this day. So what she's saying is, look, it's now joke territory.
It's okay.
Because what you always say, Andy, is that comedy is tragedy plus time.
Right.
And so I'm wondering if there would have been a time when he would laugh at this. I will say that is a spicy joke she made.
Oh, so spicy. That's a Creole. There's a Creole seasoning on that joke.
Yeah, that is spicy. And not everyone's going to find that funny, especially if they're the one who killed the dog, even if it was 5 years ago. But I will say this. Yeah. She will very easily find someone who would be in that situation and who would find that really funny.
Yeah. And you know who would laugh at that joke?
Both of us.
Yes.
Yeah, she said that they had moments of playfulness, but they lacked an overall sense of levity and goofiness. I think that is highlighted with this example. And so let's get to her question. How does the no eggshells rule apply to humor? I think with the right person, you should be more or less in the clear.
I never, ever censor a joke, I'm going to tell you, no matter how offensive or inappropriate it is.
Yeah.
And once in a blue moon, I go too far. And you know what I think when I go too far? I was like, you went too far.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I know that I was like, oh, wow, that really was pushing it. And I know the limits because you're a human being. You're not a machine.
Yeah.
Like there are certain limits to how much you can take. But even when I go too far, you tell me that I've gone too far in a way that's very civilized and like sort of,
I don't
just
shame
let me know.
you.
You've gone too far.
Yeah. I know. I'm usually like, oh, Andy,
you don't hold it against me.
No.
Yeah, you don't get angry at me.
Well, because you can't have a 100% hit ratio.
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect? If for someone to be funny, you said this the other day, how humor is like gambling.
Yes. It's always a gamble. It's especially like in mixed company. Like if you decide in the moment of silence among people who you're like not super close with and you don't know that well, to take that moment to tell a joke, that is a gamble. Because if you don't get a laugh or if there's awkwardness, you've just lost everything. It's over. You took a knife right to the liver.
Yeah.
And if you do succeed, you succeed greatly. Everyone laughs. Everyone's more comfortable with everybody. They probably like you a little more.
It totally makes
sense. It's a huge win.
If humor wasn't such a risk, then everyone would be funny.
Yes.
It costs you something to be that funny. It has to be edgy to be funny. Otherwise, it's a joke everyone would make. And when someone makes a joke that everyone makes, it's just hammy and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Why do you think they say when a comedian bombs on stage, he's dying? Ooh. Because it is death. It's literally death when you're standing in front of a bunch of people who paid to see comedy and no one's laughing and you're trying to make them laugh. It's literally death.
I mean, I have sat in a show like that before.
Yeah, it's the feeling of death. If you want to know what it feels like. It's also
death for people in the audience. It's horrible.
But you're causing it.
Yeah.
You're causing it. If you want to know what it feels like to die, just do comedy in front of like a full packed house and don't make anyone laugh.
Or go to the show on McDougal Street that's not the Comedy Cellar, which is what I did.
Definitely not sponsored.
Definitely not. Okay, so basically the no eggshells rule, how does it apply to humor? We think that
100%.
Near 100%.
Near 100%. And you just have to accept the fact that 1 out of 10, 20, 30, 40 times, you're going to get told that's too far.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah. And what you hope for is that the person does it in a way that doesn't shame you for having made the joke in the first place. I think that with us, what it really does is I kind of just rein you in. It's like you're like an errant bowling ball and I'm like the bumpers on either side. And it's like, no, you veered a little too far off path. But what it does though, is by even having those bumpers, you're able to have these strikes.
Yeah. Nice. Really. You're strong in the bowling. This is what I will say. I'll say two things to close this. Okay. One is the first time I fell in love with you like there was like dung, 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 dung.
Why are those dungs going down?
Because I'm deeper. I'm going deeper. Oh, now you feel bad, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. So get back to you falling in love with me.
Yeah. So anyway, No, but I felt there were levels. Like first I felt, I was like, oh, wow, I'm in love. And then I was like, oh, no, now I'm in love. And then I kept going. And I remember the biggest clunk was when it was very early. I told an extremely off color, personally offensive joke to you. And you not only laughed, but you like bent over laughing. Yeah. I was like, that's it. We're getting married.
Oh.
And there's one other thing I will say. When I was long ago, many years ago, my first serious breakup with Margie. You can reference the...
link it. Friends with an X, linking here.
It was a horrific time. I'd never been broken up with. I had heard people talk about being broken up with. I was like, grow up, be a man, who cares? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, yeah, this is rough. And I was in such bad shape. And I remember I worked at this company, and there was a friend of mine, Raed Al-Fayumi. I know his name because
you can't say his full name.
I can say his name. He'd be psyched.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Raed would be into this.
I don't need to bleep this?
No. Okay. Who cares? What's going to happen to him? What's the worst that's going to happen to him? Okay. He's like on the run from the FBI now. He's like, if it weren't for Dear Shandy. He used to go every time I came into the office. I remember I'd be like such a sad sack. I'd come in like moping, like, ugh. He'd be like, how you doing? I'd be like, ugh. And every single day, he gave me some advice. He'd be like, don't worry, it'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. But after that, every day he would bust my balls. He'd make a joke. Oh, really? Make a joke about it.
Oh, about your breakup.
About my breakup.
Wow.
And the first time I was like, no. And the second time I was like, huh? And by like the 15th time he was making fun of me, I was like, you know what? This is funny.
Oh.
And he helped me heal.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Have you ever told him that?
I think he probably knows because he lived it, but he's hearing it now.
Oh,
while he's on the run from the FBI. He was like 2 years older than me, but not meaningfully. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's such a nice story. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the humor shines a light on what should be funny, and if it's not funny yet, it will be funny.
Yes.
And maybe it shouldn't be funny, but you know what? It's okay to find things that shouldn't be funny, as long as both parties, are in on it.
As long as both parties are in on it, and as long as both parties trust and love each other, there's no harm. And I will take a step further. You are definitely not an asshole. If anything, you were trying to make a very sad situation a little lighter for him. And he didn't accept it. And that's why you guys aren't together.
Another question she had was, and I swear I want to wrap it, will your partner always get what you were going for, even if they didn't find it funny?
If you're with the right partner, yes.
Yes. I mean, that's quite the statement, but I do think it suits us.
Yeah.
I think we're living proof of that.
Yes.
There are times where Andy makes a joke that I don't find funny, but I'm like, I get the joke you made. It's just, it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And I don't shame you for it. I'm just like,
my rule of thumb, you miss every shot you don't take.
My rule of thumb is with humor is that it needs to be as funny as it is offensive.
Yes.
And oftentimes offensive stuff is usually what's funny, right? It's
that's the highest risk. It's the biggest gamble.
Yeah.
It's got the biggest payoff.
Yeah. So if you make a joke that's mostly offensive and not that funny, I'm like, it's not worth it.
And I like that you do that because it hones me.
Oh.
It teaches me.
Okay.
It's like an AI. I rarely learn that lesson, but it's still, you try.
So Andy, now that you and I are both dedicated Prose customers, and we really both are.
Prose knows.
They know you. They know your hair. I, now that we are Prose customers, can't believe there was ever a time when I would just go and buy whatever generic shampoo I felt like maybe could work for me.
What's interesting is that the whole time I was buying shampoo, since I've been buying shampoo, I started buying shampoo when I was probably late in high school.
Okay.
And over the years, I've been like, why can't I just have a shampoo for me? I want it for me.
Yes.
I don't want the one that's on the shelf. I want the one that literally has my name on it, and that's what Prose give you.
Yes, quite literally. It says for Andrew on your bottle of shampoo. Prose is custom made to order hair care. It actually makes total sense. Like, why are we getting custom anything? Why would you get a monogrammed bag or something with your name on it and not get custom shampoo for your hair? Your hair is growing out of your body.
When you walk in the street and you look at humans, like, no, this is what you do, right? You do that sometimes. I do it too. It's fun. But you look and you say, okay, wow, human beings, they all look different.
Yes.
But what's the thing that really is different on every human being? If you had to say, what's one thing that's different on every single human? Hold on a second. You already got your... yeah, it's you in the back.
Yeah. Hair.
Yes.
Yes, everyone's hair is different. And you know what also plays a role is where you live, your climate, the hardness of the water. All this stuff plays a role in how your hair behaves. And it's so bonkers to me that we're just like, oh yeah, I'll just get something off the shelf. One size fits all. No, one size does not fit all. And let me tell you, when a shirt says one size fits all, it also very rarely fits all.
Wow, you somehow got a jab on one size fits all shirts in there.
So with Prose, you fill out their in-depth hair consultation online, which is free, by the way. And then their algorithm will put all that information together and then give you made-to-order hair care. And I have noticed such a difference since switching to Prose.
So custom made-to-order hair care from Prose has your name all over it.
Take your free in-depth hair consultation and get a whopping 50% off your first subscription order today.
Plus 15% off and free shipping on every subscription order after that.
Go to prose.com/dearshandy. That's prose.com/dearshandy for your free in-depth hair consultation and 50% off your first subscription order.
You know what the easiest way to be a cooler person is, Charlene? You wouldn't know anything.
Well, I know that I think it's particularly cool when someone can speak more than one language.
That's what I was going to say.
So I got it right.
You did. There's no shorter cut to get to cool than to speak more than one language.
Are we shaming people into wanting to learn more languages?
Yes. And that's why Babbel is your perfect path to coolness.
Babbel is really a game changer in the language sphere. I remember learning languages. Like, I mean, I went to music school, like opera school. I had to take language courses. Nothing is as fun as Babbel. It's like they gamify learning a new language. And also because the lessons are just 10 minutes a day, the consistency is key. And if it's a small amount, then you really can stick with it.
It's fun and it's a little addictive.
Yes.
And that's good. Mm-hmm. When is an addiction good? Babbel.
Well, to be honest, I really think it says so much about a human being when they can speak more than one language, especially in adult years when they take that on. And can we talk about how much more cost effective this is than like a semester learning a language or getting a private tutor?
There was actually a study that showed that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college.
That's insane. I cannot think of a better way to spend time on your phone than using Babbel.
With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is real language learning for real conversations.
We have a special limited time deal for our listeners, the Shandies. Right now, you can get 55% off your Babbel subscription when you go to babbel.com/dearshandy.
Get 55% off at babbel.com/dearshandy.
Spelled BABBEL.com/dearshandy. Rules and restrictions may apply. Andy, do you know what one of my biggest peeves is?
No, I don't, Charlene.
It's when, wait, you should know, you're my husband.
Oh, I know a lot of your peeves. I don't know what one of your biggest ones is.
Okay, it's feeling duped. I don't like feeling duped or feeling like someone thinks they're duping me, and certainly not feeling duped out of money. And that's why I love Rocket Money, because I feel like the internet is out to get us right now.
It is. It's not out to get you big anymore. It's out to get you small.
Oh, small and consistent.
Slow. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, tiny subscriptions, $3.99, $5.99, $9.99 a month. You don't really notice on your credit card bill. It doesn't really stand out to you.
And the fact matter is sometimes you do notice and you're just like, I'll deal with that later.
Yes.
And later never comes.
Yes. And Rocket Money, meanwhile, is your guardian angel in protecting you against all this dupage.
Also, your guardian angel in case you have large purchases that might not be things that came from your body.
Yes, if there's a really large transaction made, they're like, hey, did you make this? Or something that just looks out of the ordinary.
I love when I get those. Every time I get one of those emails, I'm like, someone is looking over me. Someone is looking at things I don't have time to think about.
And for me, Rocket Money has saved me literally hundreds of dollars pointing out subscriptions.
Instantly.
Yes, subscriptions that I had that I didn't know I had or I had forgotten about, or that, I started as a free trial thinking I would cancel. And of course I forgot.
Rocket Money is literally just giving you money out of the gate. So you're just getting money.
Yeah.
And then you get Rocket Money on top of that.
And it's not just us, by the way. On average, people think they're spending $80 on subscriptions when it's more like $200. And Rocket Money could not make it easier. They help you identify and cancel those subscriptions with one tap.
One tap.
So Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spendings, and helps lower your bills all in one place.
With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year.
$1 billion in total savings so far.
Stop wasting money on things you don't use.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Shandy.
That's rocketmoney.com/Shandy, rocketmoney.com/Shandy.
All right, this next question is from Cynthia.
Oh, a person.
Yeah, a real name. I like the name Cynthia.
Yeah.
That's an underrated name.
It's an old school name.
Old school, but not like old fashioned. It's not like Gertrude.
Yeah.
Cynthia, it's an old timey name, but it's timeless.
I like it. I've started to see some Cynthias with the name spelled weird.
Oh,
so I don't know how I feel about that. But
if
it sounds
annoying.
like Cynthia, I'm still okay with it.
Dear Shandy, I love you guys beyond words. You've been such comforting company in lonely times and bring such feelings of connection. How nice. Thank you, Cynthia. That's such a nice compliment.
Yeah.
Bringing feelings of connection.
Oh.
That's the dream right there. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. That one really landed with me.
I mean, that's what makes it worth it.
My main question centers on a gym guy, Chad, late 20s male.
Wait, a gym, like a GYM?
Yes.
Or just a guy who seems like a gym?
Yeah, this is a gym question.
Okay, got it.
Which is, I mean, that's a whole category.
Oh, absolutely.
One time, oh my God, someday I should bring together questions that are all gym related.
Oh, we should do a gym Q&A.
A gym Q&A, that's such a great idea. Okay, this is me asking for it right now, Shandies. If you have gym relationship questions, I'll assemble them. That's a great idea. Gym edition.
Yeah, maybe we should start doing that with all the Q&As. Just have like a workplace edition, a gym edition, an Am I the Asshole edition.
Or maybe people like the variety within a Q&A.
Yeah, you're right. Let's
I don't
stick
know.
to this. That's what we're doing.
You guys let us know what you think. A few months ago, I, 25 female, was at the water fountain at my gym, and Chad approached me mid-sip to ask, "How are you?"
Oh, yeah, you know, can I tell you something?
You already have a problem with this?
Right away, I got a problem. The water fountain is off limits. People need to drink their water in peace at the gym. As a matter of fact, I feel like almost everything at the gym is off limits, but especially the water fountain. That's a safe place.
Mid-sip.
Don't talk at the water fountain.
Yeah, she has no other place.
Mid-sip. You got to choke down your water to turn around. You don't know what's going to happen when you turn around.
I responded kindly, and he said he's been here for too many hours. I realized there was a line behind us and quickly left. The next day, I am exiting the restroom and see he's standing right outside it like he is waiting for me.
Wait, the ladies' room?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
He shakes my hand, introduces himself, and says that he sees me all the time here, walking and running, and has mad respect for it.
Wait, what?
I do not find...
Everyone walks and runs to the gym. Why does he have mad respect for her?
I do not find my walking very impressive, but I politely say thank you, have a nice day, and leave the gym.
That's maybe the worst pickup line I've ever heard in my life.
We have a ways to go. We have to get through the questioning.
Already, forget this guy.
I mean, you can see where this is going.
Yeah, this is not good.
When I'm in the parking lot, he hurries outside to catch up with me. He says that he's actually a really good guy and is interested in getting to know me better.
So let me get this straight. This guy's 3 venues of hitting on women are mid-water fountain drink at the gym, waiting outside the ladies' room, and going to your car in the parking lot.
Chasing after her in the parking lot.
Okay, so if he's not a serial killer, you know what he is? He's a bad serial killer if he's not killing people. Yeah, he's a failure.
Let me insert here that I am not into Chad. He isn't bad looking or anything, but I feel zero interest or attraction to his aura, perhaps. I respect that. You know, that I do respect. Not that I don't respect your walking.
No, I'm sure she's a great walker.
I am now quickly deciding how to reject a very big guy I will have to see every day in the nicest way possible.
Wait, he's a very big too? He's a big guy? Like physically big?
I mean, I assume he's very worked out because when she asked how he was in response to him asking how she was, he said he's been there for too many hours.
Can I tell you something? This guy sounds absolutely awful.
Not wanting to hurt his feelings, I say, "I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend," following up with, "You're awesome though." As we're walking away, he says, "Friends then." and I hastily agree, thinking it's just pleasantries. Since this interaction, Chad now approaches me every chance he can. He will come work out next to me, strike up conversation every time he sees me, and always tells me to have a good day the way I did the first time we met. It feels like he is noting my every move. Now, Shandy, I know I sound a little crazy recounting every detail of this, but you must understand how incessantly annoyed I am by this person. The kind of annoyed where I lay in bed at night imagining all the ways I want to tell him to fuck off. It keeps me up.
Now this is a Shandy.
I thought I had rejected him in the parking lot, so I'm confused. What is happening? Is he actually trying to just be friends and nothing more? Is his behavior annoying, or am I being an asshole? I can't help but note that if this was a guy I was actually interested in, I would love that he is the one doing all the pursuing. Would love to hear your thoughts on how to get him to leave me alone, or if I need to be more open. I feel self-conscious doing certain exercises now. Much love, Cynthia. Ugh. Oh, that really makes me cringe. He's like watching her. Like you wouldn't want to do squats. P.S. There are many Shandies like me not active in the comments who never judge you guys and just love you and are grateful for you sharing yourselves. Heart. That's so nice.
That makes me feel good.
Wow. I mean, I am into Cynthia. I feel her. Yeah. I feel her.
She's a classic Cynthia.
I mean, I don't know if her name is actually Cynthia, but yes.
No, I bet it is.
Well, you know what she is? She's a classic Shandy.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel her irritation in this question. Like, this is so something that would drive me crazy.
I've got this. I've
read
got
between
the
lines.
No.
I have a boyfriend, or maybe she doesn't have one. Who cares? Like, just leave me. Can I just work out in peace?
Can I tell you what she's got to do? There's two choices here.
Okay.
I mean, there's three technically, but the third one is like pure warfare.
I gotta tell you, I'm excited to hear your answer.
Number one, find a gym that's nearby.
Oh no!
I'm just saying that I don't want her to do that, but I'm just saying if she wants the path of least resistance, get another gym. Seriously, it's to that level.
That's awful.
Two, and this is my advice. This is what choice I would make.
Okay.
Is get very obvious headphones, those big like 80s style headphones. And anytime he comes over, just point, be like, yeah, can't hear. And that's what I would do. And that's a really nice way of aggressively and passive aggressively telling him to fuck off.
What was the third choice? Telling him to fuck off?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like straight up.
But how?
Being like, can I just talk to you for a second? At the water, catch him mid-sip at the water fountain. Yeah. See how he likes it. Like, oh, excuse me. Oh, okay.
Wait, was that a real cough?
No, I faked it.
That was such a convincing fake cough.
Oh, really? I'm good at acting fake coughs. It's the only thing I can act well.
Why are you good at that?
I don't know, because I cough a lot, so I'm used to coughing.
You know, you would make a good opera singer.
Really?
Yeah, you would make a good Mimi in La Boheme. She has to cough through the whole fourth
You know
act.
what? I think I'd be a good opera actor. I couldn't act in like screen or stage or anything, but opera, I'd be a good actor.
Yeah.
I've seen what goes on there.
Yeah, I think you would be good.
Yeah. I could chest act, though. I couldn't sing. Is there any role for like a major role for an actor in an opera?
Actually, you could be a super. But okay, so she approaches him mid-sip at the water
So
fountain.
he's choking on his water. He turns around. She says, hey, sorry to interrupt your water drinking, because, I know how inappropriate it is for someone to interrupt someone there at the water fountain. But I just thought I'd tell you that I come to the gym as a place of a temple, a place of Zen, where I just am all about me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to interact.
Time.
It's me time. I don't want to interact with anyone. I don't want to interact with the person who owns the place. I don't want to interact with the greeter. I don't want to interact. It's just me. It's my place of meditation. Mm-hmm. And you seem like a nice guy. So, I humored you for a bit. I mean, that's probably shouldn't say humor. That's a little aggressive. But, you seem like a nice guy. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way. But I just would appreciate it if you just no more talking ever again. No, it's impossible. One's never done that. In maybe one person out of a million does that.
No, I mean, I actually think that that's probably the most respectful way of handling this, because it's the most honest. But how many people would actually take that? Isn't that so interesting? Humans are so, who would do that? Maybe are Germans.
Germans would do that. Yeah, Larry David and Germans.
Who would have the balls to do that? Certainly not America. I mean, I don't know many Americans.
You know what I think? I think Cynthia might have the balls to do that.
Ooh.
I believe in her.
Oh, Cynthia, do you hear that?
The only hesitation I have here is that I think it's possible that Chad actually is a serial killer. And I wouldn't want to anger him too much. I think the headphones is the way to go. I feel pretty strongly about that.
Okay, so I think there's a fourth option. And I think it's to start going to the gym at a different time.
Oh, no. Because that's the same as going to another gym.
It's cowardly.
Because at least in another gym, you're not going to see
I'm just trying to give advice that I think is doable. Like,
what's wrong with the headphones? The perfect analogy here is a fire. What do you do to put out a fire?
Water.
Yes. But that's not the answer I was looking for. She can't dump water on him. But what she can do is suck the oxygen out. You take the oxygen away, the fire has nothing.
Okay.
And the oxygen is coming out of her mouth. If she takes the oxygen out of her mouth that's going towards him, fire dies.
So kind of stop answering him.
Stop giving him the oxygen. Eventually the fire goes out.
Oh, yeah, and it seems like with him, a little bit of oxygen goes a really long way because all she had to do was be like, oh, but you're awesome though.
Oh yeah, it's like napalm.
And he's like, we're friends for life.
Yeah. He's napalm.
Out of all of them, I guess the headphones is the least uncomfortable option.
As a matter of fact, I would have a make-believe conversation. As a matter of fact, just talk to your friend. Find a friend that you really like, that needs to talk. That friend who's like, oh, I really want to talk. And you're like, I can't talk now. That's the time to talk. At the gym, put the earbuds in, have a conversation. You kill two birds with one stone. He doesn't talk to you. You're on the phone, you're talking, he sees you on the phone, and you're talking to your friend who always asks you to talk, but you don't want to talk to her. You talk to her at the gym.
Maybe that's the best advice. I would love to give the advice of like, just so you know, like the gym, like not to be rude, you're great. This is my me time. I come here to just really separate myself from the world and not have to interact with people. It's nothing against you. I just prefer to be left alone at the gym. No matter what, that's going to land as an insult.
And easier said than done.
So much
easy for me to sit here in my comfortable red chair and tell this guy to fuck off.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. I would compare this to ghosting versus breakup. And it's not a perfect comparison, because I think ghosting is obviously more of a crime than actually being stepping up and breaking up with somebody.
Okay.
But this is the ghosting version of breaking up. You shouldn't have to break up with Chad.
No.
Because Chad is not in a relationship with you. So he deserves to be ghosted. It's not like you've been dating him you've met his family, you've had Thanksgiving dinner, you've lived with him for 6 years.
There's no breakup.
No, there's no breakup. He deserves a ghost. In a relationship, they don't deserve a ghost usually, but sometimes if it's a really, really like nothing relationship, sometimes a ghost is better than a breakup, because a breakup tells them you're worthless. A ghost gives them the option of being like, maybe they just died.
Ambiguous loss. Yes.
And what this guy Chad needs.
I'm referencing our platonic friendships episode.
No. There it is. Okay. That was a good one. That was a good callback.
Okay.
But Chad needs an ambiguous loss that turns into an obvious loss.
Okay, so I swear I want to wrap, but I just want to get your guy's opinion. She said, does he really want to just be friends and nothing more? What do you think?
No, he wants more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he wants more in the creepiest way.
Yeah. Ugh.
So much more.
And just like in such a violating way. God, the idea of him leering at her while she does her various exercises. Her going to the gym is not her on display for him.
No.
I can't.
You're trapped.
Yes, she's a caged animal. She has to go there to do her workout.
You know what he is? He's the kind of guy who says, he's probably not this guy, but he's too proud to do this in the street. But he's the guy who says to, a woman walking the street, like, hey, beautiful. Yeah. And then she ignores him and he's like, what, you're too good to say hello to me?
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be beautiful if you smiled and then you ignore them.
Oh, beautiful if you smiled? Why do you have to smile for him?
I can't stand that.
He's the genre. I'm not saying he's that guy, but he's too proud. He probably won't do that in the street.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that sees a woman minding her own business, working out, doing her own thing as being like for him.
Yeah.
It's like, you're here for me. Yeah. I get to ogle you because you're in the same space as me. I get to want you to smile because that looks better to me. Never mind what your day is like.
Couldn't agree more. You know what the good version of Chad is not interrupt her at the water fountain. Wait till she finishes drinking and is walking towards him and clearly finished with her workout, ready to wrap up. And he says, hey, my name is Chad. I think you just seem so, I think you're, whatever. I don't know. You're beautiful. I don't pick people up at the gym. That's why I don't have a pickup line. There's no pickup line at the gym that's good.
Well, a good pickup line is one that doesn't give the recipient the heebie-jeebies.
The creeps, yeah.
Yeah.
He says, would you like to go grab a coffee with me sometime?
Yeah.
The answer is going to be, no, I have a boyfriend. And that's the last time he ever talks to her.
100% totally agree. Okay, we're moving on.
That's a man.
Good luck, Cynthia. It definitely sounds like you need it. I'm sorry. I'm not envious.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right. This next question is from KC.
Oh, so that could be Kansas City or KC, like Casey and the Sunshine Band.
I don't know Casey and the Sunshine Band.
That's the way.
Really?
I like it.
Wow.
That's the way. Oh, you need it again? You need to repeat that.
Can you imagine having come up with a song that iconic?
It's amazing and it's so simple.
That's the way. That's all I need to hear. And I know the song.
I like it.
It's just one interval.
That's the way.
And 3 words.
Da, da, da,
amazing.
da, da, da.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. Dear Shandy, you read the subject matter correctly. Oh, okay. So the email is titled, Dear Shandy, SOS, my dad is hot.
Oh.
Okay, you read the subject matter correctly. My dad is a good-looking 53-year-old man, happily married to my mother for 28 years.
Damn.
Both my parents are beautiful people inside and out. The problem is my sister-in-law and mother-in-law won't stop making comments about how good-looking my dad is. My dad is also a firefighter, and both my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law make comments to me about how good-looking he is, and he could save them from a fire anytime.
Nice.
I roll.
All glistening with sweat.
They do not make comments directly to him, thank goodness, but I am so uncomfortable with hearing them talk about him like this. I never have anything to say in response except one time I said, yeah, good looks run in the family, with kind of an annoyed tone, hoping they would get the hint, but the comments don't stop, more so from my sister-in-law. I am worried that at a future family event, one of them is going to drink too much and say something inappropriate to my dad in an attempt to flirt or tell my mom how attractive her husband is, which would be so weird in my opinion. I think their comments are disrespectful to me, but more so my mom and their own respective partners. For context, my sister-in-law has been in an on and off relationship with a guy for the last 8 years, and my fiance's mom is married for 30 years. What do I do, KC?
That's the way.
Wait, huh?
I'm not sure. That didn't land the way I wanted to.
I mean, I laughed.
Yeah, that's true. Nothing. It's just accept the fact that your dad's hot and they're going to say he's hot. That's it. I don't think there's a problem here.
Oh my God. This is what I love about Q&As, because I read these first, right, before I choose the ones for a Q&A. And I often have a strong opinion or an opinion, or even if I'm not 100% sure, like the gym one, I wasn't 100% sure, but I'm like, I can't wait to see what Andy brings to this. And in this case, I had a very strong opinion, and you voiced my own opinion to me. Like,
that's so nice.
Of course, like I totally agree with you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad we agree about this.
It feels so good to be so agreed with.
It really does. It's the best. It's like dopamine. It's like easy dopamine. It's like the good, you know how like it's you don't want too heavy dopamine up front because then you get addicted.
Yeah.
But you want that nice, clean, smooth dopamine. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I completely agree. I think this is a non-issue.
Yeah.
She's thinking of a scenario that hasn't occurred yet, because I feel like she definitely would have mentioned it, which is a scenario specifically where her sister-in-law and or mother-in-law get so drunk that they make an inappropriate comment. And I'm sorry if the extent to which they're inappropriate is, oh, your dad can save me from a fire any day.
Yeah.
This is so mild an issue. I don't find this that offensive.
No. And I also, this relates.
It's like kind of, maybe it might at most is slightly annoying.
This relates to the other Q&A question about how far can you go with humor? You know, how much can you do in a relationship?
It is not landing with her.
No, she's not into it. And honestly, I don't think it's that bad. Would she rather her dad be like made fun of for what he looks like?
No, but
you're like, well, you could be with so-and-so. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he's hot.
I don't like it when the alternative is like the polar opposite. So I don't totally agree with you. Sorry to take away your dopamine, your clean.
No, it's fine. I already got it. I already got it. I'm riding the high.
But I feel like in the grand scheme of things, this is just not that big a problem. I think it would be a lot more uncomfortable if it was her mother that her brother-in-law and father-in-law were making comments about. I don't think that she needs to be as offended as she seems to be by this, is what I'm saying.
I agree. And I think if she wants, she can fight fire with fire. She can start bringing similar jokes back at them. Making fun of the fact that they think her dad is so hot.
She says, I think their comments are disrespectful to me, but more so my mom and their respective partners. To me, this is like making a comment about a celebrity. Again, a celebrity or just some, it's like this fantastical thing.
I'm going to say what I think I know what's going on here. And I think she's misreading the situation. I'm not saying she's clueless. I'm just saying that she's misreading it because she has personal stake in it.
Yeah.
But they're saying this.
Yeah.
In a way to say, we're not doing anything with your dad.
100%.
We're joking about it, but it's so obviously off limits that all we have is to joke about it. So you should understand that this is obviously a joke. And if it is just a joke, then who cares?
Yeah, and I can also see a lot of people who make this joke, to say it's a joke, like it's pretty low level humor. Like I'm not thinking that they're so hysterically funny for making this remark. Yeah. If he's so handsome that I don't think the joke needs to be made personally. But I think that it's more likely that they see their jokes as compliments.
Yes, exactly.
I think they think that they're complimenting the father. And here's the other thing. I don't know if the mother would need to be offended by this, given it just means that, she's got a hot husband.
Yeah, I don't think
when people find you good looking, I'm like, that's right.
I feel the same way.
That's my man.
I feel the same way.
Are we out to lunch on this? Maybe this is an outdated
I think
opinion.
she's the only one not in on this joke. I think her dad, her mom, and everybody else is having fun with this, and she's out. Look, is it getting tiresome? Are the jokes not funny? Maybe the jokes just aren't, maybe they're just not funny people, and every time it's like telling the same old stupid joke over and over again, even if you're not offended by it. It's like, oh God,
well,
really?
She's had a hot dad her whole life, right?
Maybe they're like dad jokes now. It's like, oh, dad. It's like not, it's confusing. Apples and oranges, but you get my point. It's like she's like annoyed by how repetitive and unfunny they are. Mm-hmm. That's fine. And then she could just give her disdain very outwardly.
Sounds like she is.
Yeah, just be like, this is not funny. Mm-hmm. Like you've made that joke a million times. It's just not funny. That had nothing, no offensiveness. It's just not funny. I don't want to hear the joke anymore. That's fine. But I think she's actually kind of uncomfortable and offended by it. And I think she needs to, you need to,
Casey.
You need to get over that.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's the way.
Who likes it?
That's the way they like it.
That's the way they like it.
And that's the way you may learn to like it. That's the way, you may learn to like it. No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, this falls into the category of you can choose to be offended by this or you can choose to not be offended by this. I'm not saying you choosing to not be offended by this means you have to find the jokes funny.
No,
the jokes
don't
funny.
have to find it funny. But in the end, it is kind of funny.
You think it's funny that she's offended by this?
I think it's funny. Everything's funny. I'm getting a good laugh out of this.
Okay.
I find it funny that she's offended by the jokes they're making, and I find it funny that they keep making these jokes mercilessly.
Is it possible that they realize that she's offended and annoyed by it, and they keep making?
I think they may be getting off on her offensiveness. I think if she just let go of it and was like, that's not that funny, they would not have the incentive.
Oh my God,
anymore.
they probably are getting off on watching her squirm when they make the joke.
If I'm finding this whole thing funny, it's funny.
So flawless is your humor, Dar?
Well, I just don't find that many things funny. I'm getting tickled by this.
It's true. You do find very few things funny.
Yeah.
And when you find it funny, it's funny.
Yeah, this is funny.
So once in a while, you'll find something funny, and I'm like,
Yeah, but that's like guy. Like some I have like guy humor with some things that you just don't relate to. It's like a little too guy. Too much guy.
Too guy.
Yeah, too guy humor.
I think once in a while, what you find funny is a little too...
Juvenile?
Hammy.
Hammy, really?
Oh, no, not hammy. What's the word I'm looking for? Slapstick.
Oh, yeah. You do not like slapstick.
I think slapstick humor is a little like...
I get off on some slapstick here and there. Slapstick to me is like fast food.
Okay.
It's like, I know I'm not going to feel good about it later, but it feels good in the moment.
Okay. All right, Casey, I'm not even going to wish you luck because I don't think you need it. I think that this is just a shifting of mindset. And look, could you address it with them and could you bring this to an end if you wanted to? Sure. But I actually think, like you said, Andy, she'll be making herself the butt of a joke to be any more offended by this than she already is.
Yeah. I think she should just embrace the fact that she has a zaddy. I said it.
Okay. And that's where we close a Q&A when you say zaddy, Andy. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends. That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Sorry,
you almost made it, Andy.
Yeah, I almost made it without a burp.
And generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. And this is where I'm going to implore our Shandies to send their gym questions just in case we decide to do a gym edition. Yeah. I think that's funny. Why not?
I like gym questions better than anything. The gym is a really strange place that's not work. It's not home. It's not a bar. It's not a restaurant. And it's not the street. It's a very unique place.
Anyway, so send your gym questions. And generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.